Let me tell you something I see every single week in Tucson real estate, and it confuses buyers and sellers alike. 2 homes, same price range, same zip code, sometimes even the same street. One sells in days, multiple offers, clean terms, strong price. The other sits and sits and sits. And the wild thing is that most people assume the one that sold faster was the better one. It was the better house, better condition, better luck. But that's not usually the reason. In 2026, the Tucson market doesn't reward good homes, it rewards aligned homes. And today, I want to walk you through exactly why some properties move immediately while others stall out, even in markets people assume are hot, even in neighborhoods people think are automatic wins. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or relocating to Tucson, this video will change how you look at listings forever. And quick heads up before we dive in. If you want my buyer guide, seller guide, or relocation guide, text me at 520-980-9880. I'll send you the one that fits where you're at, but there's no pressure. I help people just like you navigate this market with clarity, not guesswork. All right, let's talk about what's actually happening. Most people still think the Tucson market works the way it did years ago. List it reasonably, clean it up, put it online, and wait. But 2026 buyers don't shop like that anymore. They're not just buying a house. They're buying a decision they can justify. That is the shift. Today's buyer is walking into Tucson with options, data, and very specific emotional triggers. They know what they want to feel, they know what lifestyle they're chasing, and they move fast when a property clicks into their vision. Homes that sell instantly don't just meet criteria, they solve tension. Homes that sit, they create friction. Now, let me explain. One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is, well, it's priced right, so it should sell. Pricing still matters, but it's no longer the lead actor. Alignment is. Alignment between the home, the buyer profile, the moment in the market, and the story the listing tells. When those line up, homes fly. When even one is off, the listing stalls. And February is a perfect month to see this clearly because February buyers are not casual buyers. They're intentional. They're people who have already been watching, already been researching, and already narrowing their focus, which means they are less forgiving. Let's talk about the first major reason homes stall. They are marketed to everyone. This is the fastest way to attract no one. When a home is described as perfect for anyone, buyers subconsciously hear that this one wasn't built for me. In 2026, buyers don't want neutral, they want recognition. They want to see themselves in the home immediately, and homes that sell quickly are very clear about who they are for. Is this a lock and leave luxury buyer, a ranch lifestyle buyer, a relocation family, maybe a downsizer, or an investor? When that's obvious, the right buyer self-select and they move decisively. When it's vague, everyone hesitates. The second reason homes sit is even more common. They confuse features with value. I can't tell you how many listings I see that lead with upgrades instead of outcomes. Granite countertops, new HVAC, updated flooring. Those are definitely nice features to have, but they're not why buyers just fall in love with the house. Buyers fall in love with how a space lives, how it feels to wake up there, how weekends flow, and guests move through the space. How private or connected does it feel? Homes that sell fast communicate lifestyle without saying the word lifestyle. Homes that sit hope the buyer does the emotional work. But in 2026, buyers just won't do that. Now, let's talk about something sellers don't love hearing. Condition doesn't mean what it used to. A clean house is not the same as a compelling house. Buyers today can see past clutter, but they can't see past confusion. If the layout doesn't make sense, if rooms don't have a clear purpose, if the flow feels off, then no amount of cleanliness fixes that. This is especially true in Tucson, where we have custom homes, ranch layouts, older builds with character, unique desert architecture. Those homes sell beautifully when positioned correctly, but when they're presented without guidance, buyers don't know how to read them. And confusion kills momentum. All right, here's another big one. They missed the timing window. February is not early in the Tucson market. It's actually extremely strategic. Buyers shopping now are trying to get ahead of spring competition. They're watching inventory closely. They're prepared to move when the right property appears. Homes that enter the market in February need to be launch ready. Not, we'll fix that later. Not, we'll see what happens, because buyers sense that hesitation. Listings that sell fast feel confident, intentional, and thought through. Listings that sit feel tentative. And buyers match that energy every single time. Okay, let's talk about pricing, because yes, it does still matter, but not the way that people think. In 2026, buyers don't respond to fair, they respond to justifiable. They need to be able to explain the price to themselves and sometimes to a spouse, a financial advisor, or even a spreadsheet. Homes that sell quickly make the price make sense emotionally and logically. Homes that sit feel like a big question mark, even if the number is technically reasonable. Now, let me flip this for buyers watching. If you've ever wondered why you keep missing out on homes, this is why. You're not losing because you're slow, you're losing because the home aligned with someone else's vision first. That's why understanding market psychology matters. And that's why watching patterns, not just listings, gives you an advantage. Here's something most people don't realize. In Tucson, the market is not one market. Luxury behaves differently than the mid-range market. Ranch behaves differently than the suburban market. And relocation behaves differently than the local moves. Homes sit when they're positioned for the wrong audience. Homes sell when the message matches the buyer. And that's it. And let me pause here and say this. If you're watching this and thinking, I feel like I've been guessing, you're not alone. This market rewards strategy, not effort. And if you want help breaking down where you fit, buyer or seller, text me at 520-980-9880. I'll send you the guide that matches your situation, and we can talk through the next steps if you want. There's no pressure, it's just pure clarity. Now let's talk about the emotional side, because this matters more than people like to admit. Homes that sell instantly don't just feel right, they feel like a safe bet. Safe to choose, safe to commit, and safe to stop looking. Buyers are overwhelmed with options. They're exhausted by scrolling. They're tired of uncertainty. A home that sells fast creates relief for the buyer. A home that sits creates doubt. The difference shows up in everything: photos, description, price, presentation, and timing. If you're a seller, here's the hard truth. If your home is sitting, it's not being rejected, it's being deferred. Buyers are saying, maybe later. And maybe later almost always becomes never. That's why early momentum matters. That's why clarity matters. And that's why alignment matters. If you're a buyer, here's the opportunity. When you understand why homes sell fast, you stop chasing the wrong ones. You stop overbidding on emotion and start moving decisively when alignment appears. That's how smart buyers win in 2026. So here's the takeaway. The Tucson market isn't broken, it isn't random, and it isn't punishing people unfairly. It's just very selective. And once you understand what it's selecting for, everything completely changes. If you're thinking about buying or selling this year or relocating to Tucson and trying to understand how to move confidently in this market, I would absolutely love to help you. Text me at 520-980-9880 for my buyer, seller, or relocation guide. Or text me the word clarity and we'll start there. And before you go, drop a comment below and tell me, do you think homes sit because of price or because of presentation? I'm Meg Estes, your AZ Homegirl, and I will see you in the next video.